Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring one of the most debated questions in history, religion, and culture. Was Jesus a real historical person, or is he a figure of mythology? For over 2,000 years, people around the world have followed the teachings of Jesus. But historians, scholars, believers, and skeptics alike continue to ask the same question: what evidence actually exists for his life? In this video, we'll explore what historians say, what ancient sources tell us, and why this question still matters today. Whether you're religious, curious, skeptical, or simply interested in history, this discussion is for you. Let's take a closer look. Before we jump into the evidence, it's worth asking something important. Why does this question matter at all? For billions of people, Jesus is more than just a historical figure. He's a spiritual teacher, a religious leader, and for Christians, the central figure of their faith. But even outside religion, Jesus has influenced art, philosophy, law, literature, ethics, and global culture. So understanding whether Jesus existed historically isn't only a religious question, it's also a historical one. Let's start with the historical evidence. Most historians today agree that Jesus of Nazareth likely existed as a real person, even though there's still debate about the supernatural claims surrounding him. One reason historians think this is because of ancient written sources. The earliest references to Jesus appear in the New Testament, especially the four Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. These texts describe his life, teachings, and crucifixion. However, historians don't rely only on religious writings. They also examine references from non-Christian sources in the ancient world. For example, the Roman historian Tacitus mentioned that Jesus was executed under Pontius Pilate. The Jewish historian Josephus referred to Jesus in his writings, and Roman officials like Pliny the Younger described early Christians worshiping Christ. While these references are brief, they support the idea that Jesus was known beyond early Christian communities. Even historians who are not religious often agree on several key points about Jesus. Many scholars believe Jesus lived in 1st century Judea. He was a Jewish teacher or preacher. He gathered followers. He was crucified by Roman authorities. These points are widely accepted in historical research. To further enrich our understanding, we could also include insights from Christian historians. Many scholars who approach this topic from a faith perspective often emphasize how archaeological findings and textual analysis align with the historical accounts, providing a robust framework for understanding Jesus within his historical context. They often highlight the unique blend of historical and theological significance that Jesus holds. What historians don't all agree on are the miracles, divine claims, or resurrection accounts. Those belong more to the realm of faith than historical verification. Of course, not everyone agrees that Jesus existed as a historical person. Some writers support what's sometimes called the myth theory. This idea suggests that Jesus may have been a symbolic figure, a combination of several teachers, or a character influenced by earlier religious traditions. Supporters of this theory point out similarities between parts of Jesus' story and older myths from the ancient world. However, it's important to know that this view represents a minority position among historians today. Most academic researchers still conclude there was likely a real historical figure behind the tradition. Indeed, many prominent non-Christian historians also critically examine and largely dismiss the myth theory, citing insufficient evidence to support it, and strong historical consensus for Jesus' existence. Here's where things get especially interesting. History asks questions like, did this person exist? What sources mention them? What events can be verified? Faith asks different questions. What did Jesus teach? Why are those teachings meaningful? What does Jesus represent spiritually? So even if someone isn't convinced by historical arguments, they may still find meaning in Jesus' message of compassion, forgiveness, justice, and love for others. Regardless of where someone stands in this debate, one thing is undeniable: Jesus changed history. His teachings shaped civilizations, influenced moral philosophy, and inspired movements centered on charity, equality, and human dignity. Even people who don't consider themselves religious often recognize the cultural impact of his message. That alone makes the historical question worth exploring. So why are people still discussing this question after so many centuries? Partly because the evidence comes from ancient sources, partly because beliefs about Jesus are deeply personal, and partly because history and faith sometimes overlap in complicated ways. For some people, the answer strengthens belief. For others, the mystery makes the discussion even more fascinating. So what do you think? Was Jesus a real historical figure? A symbolic spiritual teacher? Or something more complex than either explanation alone? There isn't a single answer everyone agrees on, and that's exactly what makes this conversation so interesting. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who enjoys history, philosophy, or big questions about the past. And I'd love to hear your perspective. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.